We got information today that inflation is high. Duh. Let's talk about what that has to do with us, this market, in Bitcoin. Welcome to Everything Currency. This is a show where we talk about everything crypto and mo. I'm your host Jay, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the CPI data that came out today. We are seeing some very high numbers on this chart. We're going to talk about how the market is reacting. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart and some other things on this chart that is causing us to have a little bit of dippy. We're going to take a look at our last hopium for us to try to head back to those all-time highs and maybe even up to that target that seems so far away that I was talking about all this time of 58K. So if you're excited about that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are new to the channel, share the videos, help me share and grow this channel. If you are new to cryptocurrency, leave me a comment in the comment box or go ahead and join my Telegram group. The links are in the description and you can feel free to ask me questions there. Very open and honest in that group. So let's get right into this information today. So when we go to Yahoo News, we can see, look, the inflation talks is all of the talk right now. Now, I watched a video earlier today where they're blaming inflation on Putin and the war. Everybody who is in cryptocurrency has been talking about inflation ever since they started printing a shit ton of money. Like they printed most of the money that was in existence. They doubled it over the last couple years. Everybody who's like who knows a little bit about finance like myself, who's new to this thing like myself. There's people who've been in finance for 20 years, 30 years, people who are new to finance, 2 years, 3 years, all saying, hey, we all know that printing a whole bunch of money is not good, probably going to lead to a bunch of inflation if we have some other things going along with it, like low interest rates, which is what we have right now. So stocks slipped today. That's what they're talking about. We had the consumer data come out. Now, this is pretty interesting how this correlates to this Bitcoin chart to me is that, hey, look, we're paying 32% more for energy. We all know gas prices are too high. I had to lower my DCA because I'm paying more for gas. Food is high and all of the other stuff is high. On average, everything is up about 8.5% right now. This data came out, earlier this morning. So the market's kind of reacted to that. Now it says the stock market turns negative as investors weigh out this data. So this is kind of just people panicking over this data. And then this one right here was pretty interesting that this one right here is pretty interesting where they say Bitcoin sees a positive reaction as inflation hits 8.5 with March CPI data matching the forecast. Now what's interesting to me is that Bitcoin is supposed to be a hedge against this inflation. Now Bitcoin in the long term is a hedge against this inflation because you have Bitcoin, it can be printed, so the value of it will keep going up as more dollars are printed. So that was kind of one of the big reasons why Bitcoin was created in the first place, was to be a hedge against this inflation. Now a lot of people say Bitcoin is so volatile, how could that be, this and this and that? Well, I haven't said this in a long time, but basically it's like we use altcoins to get more Bitcoin because Bitcoin holds its value for a longer period of time. For example, you can ask anybody who's been in this market for the last 8 months. If you had a token for the last 8 months and you bought Bitcoin versus any other token, then your other token that you bought is down over 50%. Bitcoin is down a little bit less than that. So a lot of these altcoins, for example, Cardano. Cardano is down about 78% when we see Bitcoin is down about 50%. So it has been more profitable to hold Bitcoin in these downtrends than it has been to hold altcoins. And that's why we use altcoins to gather more Bitcoin in the long run. I haven't said that on this channel a lot because I do focus more on altcoins because altcoins is where we can make a lot of money and the trading in altcoins is pretty damn good. So looking at the Bitcoin chart right here on the monthly, we see some pretty interesting bearish things on this chart. Basically, we can come back down since we're below the 13 moving average right here, the 13-month moving average. The 34 moving average on the monthly is 31K right now. That is looking like a level that we might come and hit. This vortex is also crossing, which is usually a very nice bearish sign for us, but sometimes it does get faked out, and when it does get faked out, things explode to the upside. So that's the first sign of hopium we have on this chart. We could get faked out, but that's not really hopium, because a cross is bad and a fake out is just a fake out. So what other hopium do we have on these charts? We can go to the weekly chart right here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This chart looks ugly. We dipped below the 13 and 34. We came up above the 13 and 44, the 13 and 34 EMA, blasted above it, tried to retest it, and that retest failed. So we came back down just as fast as we went back up. Now we are trying to hold this level right here, which is 39,600. That is our first level of hopium. If we bounce there, that could be a nice bullish sign, because that would be putting in a nice higher low. And this level 37K is where we cannot pass, because that is the higher low of this close on the weekly. We did have some interesting things that happened back here where we wicked on the weekly to these lower levels. And so this last line right here is hopefully we can not come down here and try to test these levels at 35K again and stay above these two red lines right here, mainly this one right here at 37K 700. That is our last hopium line right there. We are kind of having a higher low trend on this right here on the daily chart. This white line right here is kind of creating a higher low trend. We can see we bounced right on it, which is pretty nice. Which is pretty nice, bouncing where we closed at over here before. And maybe, but I'm thinking we'll probably come up and try to retest this 13 and 34 and then continue our way down. But that is good. Let's let these indicators on the weekly and the monthly cool down before we go back up, so we can try to negate some of these other things that we're seeing on this chart. Now, the DXY is something that is positive, like negatively correlated to Bitcoin, meaning when this thing goes up, Bitcoin is usually going down. When this thing goes down, Bitcoin is usually going up. And we can see that this thing has been going up since May of 2021. It's not really on point to a T, but it is correlated to all the markets. When the dollar index is going up, which is a dollar weighted against a basket of other currencies, but basically when the dollar has strength, that means people are going into dollars and they're selling their assets. So this is showing us that, you know, people are selling their assets, which is not good for the market and the asset prices. So we have this red line, which I put in here a long time ago. Every time we cross this line, markets get pretty damn bearish. But we have this other white line right here that's looking like it could be trying to create a trend line here. It's not a trend line yet because there's only two touches, but if it gets another touch on this line, it could form this trend line here and maybe go back down. That will be pretty bullish pretty bullish in my eyes. So yeah, right now we have the narrative and the things in place for us to have a nice bearish time in this market for the next coming weeks. But I'm not extremely bearish yet, because I do still have some hopium on these charts. But a lot of people might say, hey man, you're tripping, it's over already. I don't know. I'm right in the middle. Like I said, I do have some hopium because we haven't crossed these technical levels. The rest of the market is very fearful. The stablecoin dominance is on the rise. So if we can keep going up on this chart, we'll see altcoins continue to have a nice little dip. But right now, altcoins are very, very dippy. A lot of them are getting very oversold. We have been going down in altcoins for about a year. For some people, it doesn't feel that long, but we have been going down for a year. So some type of relief rally or even some type of turnaround could still be something that's happening. For me right now, I'm just DCAing into Bitcoin and getting ready for whatever happens, keeping my keeping all cards open right now, because to me we're in a bearish structure, kind of a no trade zone in between these three moving averages. Under them, that's bearish, and then holding this trend line right here, that's bullish. So we're kind of in this no trade zone for me right now with a bunch of bearish news. But as we know, in this market, anything can happen. All it takes is one article, one announcement that can make people change their mind. If they can come out tomorrow and Putin says, hey, the war ends, and everybody gets happy, and then things just go crazy. And that's kind of how they're not regulating these markets, but that's how they're kind of controlling these markets right now, is with the news. They're really putting out these narratives, and it will shock the people into a reaction, and then they don't have to react as much because the reaction already happened. So let me know what you guys think about the video. What do you guys think about the hopium on these charts right now? Let me know what you guys think about my website. Let me know what you guys think about the CPI, the data and all that stuff. Do you think inflation is going to go down anytime soon? The Fed is talking about raising hikes, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. We'll talk about that in the next video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Till next time, RIP to Crypto Roots. Check out the Hula Girl NFT for some giveaways, giving away a Hawaii trip for show. Till next time, peace.